We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Here we go. Welcome in, everybody. Sorry about that little delay there, but it is the best time to be a sports fan and sports bettor. We have a ton to get to here on Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. College basketball is underway. A ton of games going today, so looking forward to following that and jumping in as the season gets going. Right now, just non-con games, but a lot to get to. We have to recap Week 10 in college football. Less than 36 hours away from our first college football prediction show that will be on Tuesday night. So looking forward to that and seeing where the committee kind of has the teams and who is going to make the 12-team playoff projection right now. We also have to get to some NFL. Last week, all favorites. Yesterday, it was pretty chaotic, so I'm excited to wrap that up. NHL still going. NBA, we actually started the NBA Cup. The in-season tournament started last Friday. We'll dive into that. And we'll have some more important games tomorrow for that in-season tournament. But first, before all of that, we got to get to the most important, because we do have a champion, a back-to-back champion that happened over the weekend. So we got to start with that recap here. I'm Alex White. I'll be here with you for the next hour. And Ryan McCormick, of course, the co-host here at Sports by the Book. Ryan, how was your weekend overall? And what do you think? Dodgers back-to-back champions in one of the best World Series I can remember.
Yeah, and first, thanks to our viewers for bearing with us through the Halloween gremlins that stuck around for today's show. But yeah, ultimately, we did get a Game 7, and hopefully you guys listened and took the best price you could get on the Dodgers to win the series, as it was. All right, so I have a little bit of a story to share with this. With the Dodgers winning back-to-back World Series now. So going in Game 7, obviously the Blue Jays were up 4-3 in the top of the ninth with one out in the top of the ninth, and obviously the home run to tie it. But just prior to that home run, I was sitting there watching the game with my girlfriend Tiffany, and she starts to make a comment and stops herself, not wanting to jinx it. And she's like, no, I'm not going to jinx it. And they get that first out. And she kind of, no, I'm not going to jinx it, all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, no. So then we kind of get through 2-2 count. And then I go with, maybe I'm going to be honest and reveal something here. So the day the Dodgers signed Blake Snell, November 30th of 2024, just under exactly a year ago, I placed a bet on the Dodgers to win the World Series at plus 260. So I had a futures bet on the Dodgers to ultimately win the World Series, and I was rooting against it. It was an emotional hedge bet, and I decided to say that on the 3-2 pitch as it was leaving his hand, like just, oh no. Watching that ball fly into left field, like, oh my God, I cannot believe we just did this. So yeah, I'm not saying it's fully on me, but Tiffany has had permission for years now to hit me when I say my bets, because I do happen to jinx my bets like that often.
So what you're saying is you actually won. Emotionally, you were rooting against them, but you had a bet from last year.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah. So yeah, my, I think, fourth future bet to ever hit did hit thanks to the Dodgers.
Very good. Now, what was your thoughts when I said one of the greatest World Series?
Yeah, no, absolutely. There's a much larger discussion that can be had with my thoughts on how it kind of played out and the fact that the Dodgers won the World Series again. Granted, a great weekend for Japanese bettors with Forever Young winning the Breeders' Cup Classic and the Dodgers winning the World Series. So take that how you may. But ultimately, yeah, phenomenal baseball season. The Dodgers and Blue Jays had the most comebacks in Major League Baseball regular season and postseason. So it's bound to end like that. We get an extra innings in Game 7. Yeah, what more can you ask for?
Yeah, and just kind of wrapping up the whole series, but having an 18-inning game. The first ever pinch hit grand slam in World Series history. Treyu Savage, his story is unbelievable with just pitching at every level until the biggest stage. And then Yamamoto getting the MVP. I thought that was really cool since he did pitch in 3 of the 7 games. Of course, closed out that Game 7. So congrats to the Dodgers. A lot of fun. And you know what? We'll talk about it with Matt here tomorrow too, but kind of the jokes and Dave Roberts kind of pushing back like they're ruining baseball. But I think it will help. I mean, I don't think there's going to be a cap, but it might raise the floor, right? And force some of these teams to spend more. And we'll see what happens. But I mean, they go out there, they get their guys, and they had a crazy good roster, and it paid off to win back-to-back World Series now here.
Yeah, I mean, the idea for a salary cap, I believe, is completely wrong. There's no need for a salary cap. What we need is a salary floor and not allowing deferment to be 90% of your contract cannot be deferred 20 years down the road.
Yeah.
That you can't have a credit card on your payroll. That's not how Major League Baseball should work. No salary cap. I'm against a salary cap. You need a salary floor, and you need to limit the deferment. It's as simple as that.
Recap for anything over the weekend, NHL or NBA wise? I know you had some trends because you have been following those daily for us.
Just a note in the NHL. So we did have 21 games, including Friday over the weekend. Totals went 8 and 13 over the weekend. All 5 games yesterday went under. So could be 8 and 13 to the under this past weekend. So
I like a couple unders tonight, so hopefully that trend can keep going. But
2 teams on the first of a
for later.
back-to-back. Yeah.
What'd you say? 2 teams? What?
2 teams on the first of a back-to-back tonight. So.
Yes.
Good, yeah.
12 games yesterday in the NFL, much better, I would say, entertainment-wise than last week. 9 of them decided by 1 score. Favorites were 7 and 5 straight up, but underdogs 8 and 4 against the spread. Totals split 6 and 6, overs and unders there. So a lot of excitement, some upsets. The Panthers, your Bears got a good win there. Anything really jump out to you? And then, of course, the Bills and the Chiefs, and the trend continues. Josh Allen and company win in the regular season. We'll see what happens if they meet again in the playoffs. But really, that game, I mean, just kind of falls on the run game. And James Cook was awesome once again. And the Chiefs need to probably look for a running back before the trade deadline here.
Yeah, and just how much of an impact Ed Oliver is on that defensive line. When he's there for the Bills, that defense is really hard to run through. But my biggest takeaway kind of for the weekend, again, is this reverse teaser card. 7 for 7 pays 2,001. Back-to-back weeks, you could have a 7 for 7 winner. We have 8 winning legs so far in week 9. Going into tonight, if you have the Cowboys minus 9.5 or the Cardinals minus 4.5, you can get a 9th when you don't need it, winning leg on that reverse teaser card. So, yeah, a lot of... You said close scores, and they were active games. The team I was most confident in was the Colts. They ultimately ended up losing by a touchdown. I had said that they were going to be fired up. They didn't get a victory Monday on Monday. Could have been a little bit of paralysis by analysis there, and just didn't come out ready to face the Steelers team. The Steelers defense looked a lot better than they have really the entire year.
Yes, they did. And we will, of course, talk with Chris Andrews second half of the show here, probably about 12 minutes. And we'll hear from him if he has dove into his offense and defense efficiency. But the Steelers' defense did look a lot better. There's something about going against a desperate team, and the Steelers were in that spot for sure. Green Bay, I think we kind of know now the the recipe to beat them, and it's just a physical, good defense because we saw them lose to the Browns earlier in a team that can run the football. So they might be a little fraudulent there. Denver finds a way again. The Broncos in the fourth quarter, I did like that side, but I thought it was pretty fortunate. Once again, if you are betting these Denver games, Chargers didn't cover, but they did win. Terrible injury there because Joe Alt was carted off, and we know what happens when we've seen them lose some of their guys on the O-line. So we'll see how the Chargers respond there. But a couple injuries that were very unfortunate yesterday in the National Football League. Tucker Kraft just had his huge game on tight ends day. He tore his ACL. Jaden Daniels dislocated elbow at the end of that game. A lot of people pretty mad that he was still playing in it. CJ Stroud did leave his concussion protocol, but he should be okay. What did you think about the Seahawks Sunday Night Football? I mean, that was a dominant performance and a dominant win. Right now, Mike McDonald is my coach of the year because as good as everybody has been, it's Vrabel's second stop as a head coach, and they get better. They learn a lot from their first stop. This is McDonald's first head coaching job, and 10 wins last year. He's starting it once again this year with a new quarterback in Sam Darnold. I just think he's been phenomenal. So for me, I do think that there's got to be some value there. But yeah, Seahawks, are they the real deal, Ryan?
It certainly looks like it. It also certainly looks like the Commanders are done for the year, losing Jaden Daniels and Marlon Humphrey on their defensive side. But yeah, the Seahawks absolutely look like the real deal. Sam Darnold looks like was the Sam Darnold last year. Looks like he's finally coming into form in the National Football League. And they have a true, not only wide receiver 1, but a wide receiver 2 in Torrey Horton, the rookie there. So yeah, that offense is potent. We'll kind of talk to Chris Andrews later in the show, getting his thoughts. We are just over 24 hours away from the NFL trade deadline. So some updates in the NFL futures markets will be taking shape in the next 48 hours or so.
And tomorrow or Wednesday, but probably tomorrow, we'll look into some of the awards and give those updates. I know Josh Allen's number has definitely dropped for MVP after that big game. Yeah. You brought up the Commanders. Now they have to host the Lions, who are coming off a tough loss. We didn't mention that game. I know you don't really care about either of those teams in your division, but Minnesota found a way to get the win with J.J. McCarthy. He didn't have to do a whole lot. I would say Brian Flores' defense really stepped up in that one, confused Jared Goff, and found a way to get that win. Yeah,
and Amon-Ra St. Brown might be a little dinged up there, so that's something to keep an eye on. It was his bobblehead day, and he gets hurt in his bobblehead game, so not too good for the fans there in that one. But yeah, losing a divisional game, we kind of talked about it that the 10 points was too much in a divisional game going into last week. But yeah, Vikings end up winning on the money line outright, plus 375 on the road in a divisional game. That division now has a 5-2-1 are the Packers, and then 5-3 are the Lions and Bears, and then 4-4 are the Vikings. So very tight NFC North.
Yes, it is. I mean, I would say that is the most competitive division as of right now, because every other division has at least one team at the bottom, which is 2 wins, and wow, 4-4 for the worst team in that one so far. Well, we're going to recap some college football, but I'm going to wait until Chris gets in here and can join us, because there were 3 teams that went down that were in the top 10 going into last week, so we got to break all that down. But I want to get to tonight's game, and we do have a poll going, and we want to hear from everybody else to see which player prop, I believe, right? We're going with today that they like, but we've got one last game to wrap it up for the NFL. Cardinals at Dallas, the Cowboys, and I said it on Friday, and I haven't been betting too much with NFL. It's been more college football. This past weekend was much better for the National Football League. It was a bad time for me to have a bad week in college football, but I said I like the 2.5 with Dallas. I mean, I thought that was a good number with them at home, so I did lay it with the Cowboys, and now it's mostly 3 because Kyler Murray is looking like he is not playing, even though the Cardinals have a pretty good quarterback with Jacoby Brissett. So let's break this one down. Ryan, are you looking anything side or total for yourself tonight?
You had mentioned the Kyler Murray part, and that's what scares me off. He's not ruled out, but Jacoby Brissett is the starter for the Cardinals. So they are expecting Kyler Murray to come in some sort of fashion. Are we getting Kyler Murray as a Taysom Hill package now? Is that what we're going to see Kyler Murray as?
Interesting.
Just because of the athlete that he is, they're going to take advantage of that. I mean, he hasn't been a good quarterback the last couple of weeks, and granted, he's been hurt a little bit, but I do think it's the right time for the Cardinals to move on from Kyler Murray. We've just seen in the past that it isn't going to work out. But yes, so spread opened 3 for Dallas at home, went to 2.5. And has bounced between 3 and 3.5 over the weekend. Now sitting at 3. Total open 53.5, went to 54, back down to 53, and then climbed back up to 54, where it sits now. We know the Cowboys have been every bit one of the worst defensive teams in the league this year. Do you see it kind of going the same tonight, Alex, with the total?
I made it that high. I have it 54, but I really don't. I don't know if this Cardinals offense is a unit that can really take advantage of Dallas's bad defense. And you're right, they're 31st right now in points allowed, giving up an average of 31. And it's pretty funny because these two teams are very similar. They mirror each other, but to two extremes. Dallas second in points per game at 31, and then they're giving up 31. And Arizona has been better on the defensive side. They're 12th in scoring defense, holding opponents to 22. And they come into this one losing 5 in a row, just 2-5 on the season, because they're 22nd in scoring and averaging that exact same number at 22. I do just like the fact that Dallas is at home and they're a team you want to back at home rather than on the road, and their offense has been much better at home. But there is some George Pickens concerns, whether or not he is playing or if he is banged up, but I would just look for CeeDee Lamb and props with him, that's for sure. And then on the other side, Trey McBride. I mean, the whole offseason, it was all this talk about the connection between him and Kyler Murray, but he has scored in the last 2 games with Jacoby Brissett. Yep. So I would look at Trey McBride anytime touchdown, too, to maybe find the end zone there. But that's interesting what you say, if they are going to use Kyler Murray in a different way.
I mean, yeah, I don't know how much to expect them to use Kyler Murray in that fashion. Just from what they've said, that he's not out of this game. We've made the comments of when you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks. So I don't think they're going to have him in rotation as if it's a veteran and rookie kind of thing, because it's not. So, yeah, I have no idea how they're going to be using Kyler Murray in this. But I would be with you in Trey McBride touchdown tonight. When talking about the Cowboys, the guy you have to look at that has the most control of the offense is Dak Prescott. And I don't mean to drop a emotional anvil on the show right now, but today is an emotional day for Dak Prescott. 1 year ago today, he played his final game of the 2024 regular season, had his hamstring injury that he needed surgery on. So last game of the year last year was on this date. And then 12 years ago today, his mother passed. So it is going to be a lot for Dak Prescott, I think, emotionally today. That's kind of where I would hesitate on the Cowboys offense and thinking this game goes over. I do think the Cardinals defense is capable and their offense with Jacoby Brissett is going to be able to control the clock. Yep. I've also seen a lot this week about Michael Carter leading that running back room for the Cardinals. So Michael Carter is someone that I would look at for an anytime touchdown, plus 275. But I would not be going the over on 54. I know we've talked about the Cowboys defense at length, and we've talked about the potential for points with these offenses. But I would tend to think that the pace of this game is going to be slower than we think.
I agree. And these standalone primetime games have a trend of staying under, so I would lean that way too. That's a lot of points in any football game. So I'm with you there. That is a great number for that anytime touchdown for Carter for a running back. So plus 275 there. There's some value there with that. Javonte Williams has been outstanding for this team and getting their run game going, but I don't know if I want to lay minus 155 for him in that one. Anything else for the game tonight?
Another note that Dak Prescott in his last game had 2 interceptions, no touchdowns. The last 3 times that he did that, he responded with over. His touchdown passing prop tonight is at 2.5. He's gone at least 2, so that's why it's at 2.5 now. But getting over 2.5 here at the South Point, plus 170. Wow. If you do believe in the the Cowboys offense and that we will see a lot of points tonight, I have no fault on you for taking that plus 170. I mean, you got George Pickens, or you should have George Pickens. You will have CeeDee Lamb, and Javonte Williams is a threat out of the backfield. And you also have your tight end. So, yeah, the Cowboys offense we know is capable. If their defense lets up the points, their offense is going to need to respond. So wouldn't fault you for taking the plus 170 on that 2.5 over passing touchdowns.
I like that bounce back spot. I would look for a 1.5 out there as well, though. Maybe split it up a little bit, because betting over 2.5 passing touchdowns feels like a lot, but that is why you're getting a good price at plus 170. So maybe splitting that unit size and having a little bit on both. And if he gets 3, it's a pretty good night. And
just to point out, the difference between 2.5 passing touchdowns for Dak Prescott, both here at South Point and on DraftKings, wherever you're able to shop around. But you're getting plus 170 here at South Point, and the juice is more elevated on DraftKings, and you're only getting plus 145. So you're getting an extra 25 cents, and you have to lay, and you would be laying 3 more cents if you take the under. So again, better pricing, more favoritism to the customer here at the South Point than the national books. Yeah, you got to look out for that and be shopping around, because a lot of people don't know that and just use whatever app they have and put the bet in. But that is how you win long term at betting sports too. Well, good. So should we move to hockey before we bring in Chris Andrews? There's only 4 games on the board tonight, so we could hit those quickly. And if we have to break it up, we can do that. But I am looking forward to these 4. You mentioned right off the top, you want to start there with which teams are playing the first of a back-to-back, because we have been keeping up with the scheduling for everybody so they know. And I double-checked the goalies. We should be good on goalies for tonight. But yeah, so let's get started off with who's playing the first of 2. So Edmonton is going to be on the road tonight and tomorrow, on the road in St. Louis tonight, on the road in Dallas tomorrow. And then the Predators are at home tonight against the Canucks and will be on the road tomorrow in Minnesota against the Wild. But if we'll go in rotation number order, going back up to Penguins at Maple Leafs, the Penguins plus 160 on the money line, Leafs minus 180, total 6.5 flat. Ryan, the only thing I can do here is take a little piece of Pittsburgh. I think that the market just still has not caught up to them and how they are playing. Now, Toronto has been better, and this is the first of a nice home stretch they have, first of 4 games that they'll be in Toronto, and it's the 3rd straight road game for Pittsburgh. But I still think they're playing with a lot of energy and a lot of confidence. And Tristan Jarry's definitely been the better of the 2 goalies between him and Anthony Stolarz. So I like the dog here in this one. What do you think? Yeah, I'm with you. Leafs coming back home after a hard-fought win against the Flyers. Not necessarily hard-fought. They won 5-2, but a physical game against the Flyers. And yeah, we talked to Eddie Olczyk last week, who likes how the Penguins are playing. We both like how the Penguins are playing. So yeah, I'd be right there with you. The Penguins on the road against the Leafs. There in Toronto. But if we go to a different Canadian team on the road in Nashville today, the Canucks, a slight road underdog, minus 105, total 5.5 with juice to the over. I got to take a shot here on the under 5.5, and I know 5.5s can be intimidating sometimes, but I like how both of these goalies are playing, and both of these teams are struggling offensively. The Canucks are 28th in goals, and they are 29th in shots on goal, and Nashville is 30th in goals per game at 2.46 average. There's the goalies' numbers right there. Demko, a 2.41 goals against and a 917 save percentage, and a 279 for Saros goals against and a 904 save percentage. So I like under. I think it's going to be a tight, low-scoring game between these 2. So under 5.5 for me in that one. All right, I don't have anything for you there, but so we'll go over to St. Louis here. Edmonton, coming off an overtime win against the Blackhawks, are a road favorite, minus 135 here against the Blues. Totals at 6 with heavier juice to the over, minus 125. Well, you mentioned Edmonton, the first
of the back-to-back, but I still think that's a pretty good price. I'm probably going to stay clear, but I mean, it's a heavy lean to the Oilers here. But I've been going against the Blues, and I just don't know if my number is still off from the book, and I don't know if mine's correct or, we could be betting it for a while now. But Jordan Binnington has struggled too. 2-4-2 record on the year and a 3-2-1 goals against. These are not numbers we're used to seeing from Binnington. So it would only be the Oilers for me in that one. I would take a shot there.
Well, so if you do want to take a shot, maybe puck line, plus 180? Or is that not enough?
It's not terrible for pizza money bet. I mean, I wouldn't do a full unit on it, but yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll go to the final hockey game of the night. The Blackhawks on the road in Seattle. Blackhawks, again, in the middle of their road trip. Third of 6 on the road. Road underdog. Plus 135, minus 155 on the Kraken. Totals at 6 with juice to the under this time, minus 120.
This was a lean to the under here for me with these two. Wanted your opinion, though. I just thought it was a little high at 6. I didn't make it quite that high, but Spencer Knight, we've been talking about him, how good he has been playing and his numbers, that .913 save percentage. And then Joey Daccord on the other side, 2.7 goals against average. So, yeah, I was leaning, and I think both of them have been playing good defense. I think this should be a exciting, fun, good hockey game to watch tonight.
I agree. Both of these teams coming into it off of a 3-2 overtime loss. We've talked about how the Kraken are capable. They just had that road trip before coming home where they really struggled.
Yeah.
But the Kraken haven't lost in regulation at home yet, so I would tend to go with that crowd, thinking the price is right with them favored. But yeah, I would tend to agree on the under, thinking that the Hawks are going to be tired. Third of 6 on the road, they haven't won any of them yet, so it should be a tougher battle. So it should be a close game. So yeah, I like the under there.
I hear you. I'm with you. The home team being the favorite. I feel like it is a little steep there. Both of these teams.
Well, yeah. I mean,
pulled up 5 wins on the year, and
I've talked about how competitive I think the Blackhawks are.
Yeah.
Sure, take me as a homer, but the Hawks are competitive. They're young. They're feisty, and yeah, they want to win now. So yeah, maybe won't be taking the Kraken on the money line, but I'm there with you on the under.
Might be a good game you can jump in to, some in-game.
Sure.
Depending on who scores first there. But, all right, Eddie, so which one jumped out to you the most that you like for hockey between the 4? Was there one that you liked more than the others?
Yeah, it was the Pens on the road in Toronto.
Okay.
I thinking Toronto's in a little bit of a shell shock right now, so thinking the Pens can maybe add to it.
Take advantage there.
Yeah.
All right. I'll put mine on the whiteboard at the end of the show as well. But please jump in the poll. Let us know for tonight's action. And we're going to have another poll coming to you soon for college basketball. It's related there. So we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, Chris Andrew, Sportsbook Director here at the South Point, will join us to recap the weekend.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south of the border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
It's our way to bet against both teams.
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
Welcome back, everybody. Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Alex White, Ryan McCormick here with you for the next 20 to 25 minutes. And now Chris Andrews joins me on the desk. We're going to recap the weekend that was and look forward because we've got college basketball all of a
Starts
sudden.
today, yeah.
And you guys got a full menu,
Yeah,
right? So
full
starting
slate.
right there. Yeah. And then, Chris, future-wise for college basketball, probably once we get to conference play, right? We'll start having numbers up. Or you have futures.
Oh, God. I got futures, yeah.
Okay, you have it to win it all.
Yeah.
We got some good numbers there, but
Yeah, I got to win it all. I got the full menu today, sides, totals, I mean, limits are small at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, when they get past like January 1st,
yes.
or maybe even before then, we'll start upping them,
And I mean, you would caution people to start small themselves, right? Because there's with the
Yeah.
transfer portal and everything,
mean,
it's just crazy.
Well, to quote our dear departed friend, Dave Sherapin, nobody knows shit. And that's what Dave always said. That's where we are right now in college basketball.
Yeah.
I mean, I would tell you, tread lightly until we kind of figure out some of these teams, who's good, who isn't, who's in, who's out. I mean, it's always been that way in college basketball. It hasn't always been that way in college football, but it's just been accelerated even in the last couple of years.
Most definitely has. So we were recapping the World Series. How was it for you guys, and how was the crowd here?
Oh, the crowd was unbelievable. I mean, anytime you get the Dodgers, I mean, it was huge Dodger crowd every night. We got bet, I don't know if I probably mentioned it, but in the preseason baseball, took a very big bet on the Dodgers to win the World Series. As a result, I had the worst price on the Dodgers all year because I was, we were going to lose on them. And everything just kind of caught up. So when we finally got to the end, I was in a position where, we did great with the Blue Jays, and we did okay with the Dodgers. So I kind of was hedging throughout the series, evening that up a little bit, because obviously I had a ton of respect for the Dodgers. I mean, how could you not?
Right.
But then that last day, we got flooded with Toronto money. I mean, flooded. And as the game went on, I'm not a Dodger fan. I'm married to a Giants fan. She hates the Dodgers, hates them. So we're watching the game together. She loves football. She loves everything, but she really loves baseball and hates the Dodgers. And we're watching the game. I mean, I thought Toronto had it wrapped up.
Yes.
And even in the end, with all that flood of Toronto money, I still technically did better with the Dodgers winning. I mean, I did better with Toronto, even with all that money flooded in. Anyway, I thought we had it. I thought we had it. And just, a great finish, great game. There's a couple of fantastic games. I mean, it's hard to say, is it the best World Series ever? I mean, the World Series has been playing for, about 120 years, but it's got to be right up there. It really was a fantastic series.
It was awesome. And I'm interested to see what happens moving forward. If Toronto can, keep some of those pieces and make another run. But, I mean, they were kind of out of nowhere. 10-1 to win their division when we were talking.
Were they last in the division last year, I believe? I think they were. I think they were last in the division last year. So I'm not positive on that. But that's a hell of a turnaround.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Ryan's confirming yes there. So
that's right. They were, Ryan?
It's a tough division, too. So overall, how was the weekend in football for you?
Saturday was not great. Saturday, it was funny. I talked to another bookmaker. Like he said, boy, that Georgia game, that was so good for us. I mean, really? When the guy fell down? We needed Georgia. He said, an NC State beating Georgia Tech. That was one of our biggest games of the weekend. That was our worst game of the weekend.
Was it?
Literally the worst game of the weekend. And he had, I can't remember, he had one other game. I'm thinking, oh my God, you had that one? Every one of those games killed us. So just shows different players in different joints,
Yeah.
you know. Usually they're very similar. But, you know, and we still made a little bit of money on Saturday, but it was not a good Saturday. Yesterday was fantastic. And I know Ryan mentioning the reverse teaser card. Was there 7 potential winners?
8.
8?
8 already.
You know how many winners we got on the card?
Nada?
0. When you said that, I said, oh, man, I better check. We had 0. And that's the way that card is. I mean, last week we got beat up pretty good. This week we beat them up pretty
Well,
good.
I got to imagine a lot of people came back hoping
They
that the
did.
big favorites would cover again, right?
Yeah.
And they were on that side. But 9 games, one were decided by 1 score. So it was a much
Yeah.
more competitive day.
Well, last week, I mean, the whole day was terrible. I mean, aesthetically watching as a
Yes.
fan. Yesterday, just about every game was fantastic. All except for the Sunday night game, which was okay with me because we really needed Seattle bad. So that was fine with me. But other than that, pretty much every game in the day was great. And Mr. McCormick there must have really liked that Bears game. Game of the year. I don't know. Go back to Buffalo and Baltimore week 1.
Yeah.
That was a hell of a game. But yesterday's game, I mean, 2 not very good teams, but still, the game itself was fantastic.
Well, I mean, the Bears were up 2 scores at one point and then got the pick 6 taken away because that was a terrible ruling. That should have been a pick 6 100% of the time. If it's the Green Bay Packers, it's a pick 6. I stand by that 100% of the time. Anyway, ultimately the Bears did win. Don't think it looked good, and we've seen now in post-game pressers the Bengals star players of Chase Brown, Jamar Chase, kind of sounding off on the defense. Chris, what do you kind of think that spells out to be for the rest of the year?
Well, I mean, I don't think it's ever good to have that kind of conflict internally. But I mean, can you blame them? My God, and we mentioned, Ryan, you and I talked before we went on the show, before I came on. I think the Bengals are on pace to give up more points this year than anybody in the history of the NFL. And I mean, the offense, Joe Burrow, I got to tell you, I spent his whole career rooting against him. He's been a Raven mostly. Of course, I didn't root for him. Then he was with Cleveland. Now he's with Cincinnati. It's hard to root against this guy.
Yeah,
I mean,
Joe
you
Flacco.
see him on the side. First of all, he is Joe Cool. I mean, he never gets flustered. He got the gray beard. He'd have 420 yards or some ridiculous number.
Yeah.
And clutch. It wasn't just garbage time.
Right.
I mean, this guy's clutch. I mean, it's hard for me to root for the Bengals, but it's hard for me to root against this guy. I mean, he's just too much.
And he did all that with an AC sprain because that was the talk going into the week,
'cause
whether or
going
not
in,
he would be able to play.
I think I had that off the board for a little while because we weren't sure. And what's a backup kid's name from Washington?
Jake Browning.
Browning.
Yeah.
Browning, who a guy that I've always liked, but boy, this year he's been terrible.
Yeah.
You know, and then they trade for Flacco, and boy, he's just been unbelievable.
Well, you had the Panthers, which was a great call
That was
because
a
they
good
ended
one,
up
yeah.
winning
Yeah.
outright, and we both like the Broncos. They found a
Yeah.
way. What do you think of them with this fourth quarter heroics? They can't sustain that, right? I mean, their defense is so good, and that's
Yeah.
why they actually have a shot in these games. But
You know, it's kind of like voodoo handicapping. Can they sustain it? Should it come back to earth? Yeah, it should. And we're seeing it this year with Kansas City. How many one-score games did they win last year? A whole bunch of them. Mm-hmm. And they haven't won too many of them this year. So does it come to pass? I mean, again, if you look at the broad statistical profile, yeah. But the teams can and do it for a year, you know?
yeah,
And I think primarily just look at that defense, keeps them in every game. And that was one thing we talked about before last week's show. We thought the defense for Denver, we thought the matchup favored
Yes.
Denver defensively. And what did they give up yesterday? 15, whatever
Yes.
it was? Yeah. So, I mean, obviously very good defense for Denver. And I know Stroud got hurt, and Mills I thought played okay. But even with Stroud in there, I think the defense for Denver it was a bad matchup for Houston offensively.
Yeah, and look at right there. And those are two of your top two defenses going against each other.
Well, look at the final score,
there.
too.
I know, yeah. Even under 41.5.
But once again, I think my particularly the offensive efficiency, I'm not happy with that. I told you I was trying something new this year, though. But I think there's something there. But one thing, we kind of saw Carolina coming.
Yes.
Even after like about 3 weeks, some of those numbers showed Carolina was, something to be reckoned with. And they're 5-4. I mean, they're right in the middle of the playoff hunt. And Trey Young is not a good quarterback. So, I mean, I don't know how they're doing it, but they are doing it. They got the wins, and they got a huge win yesterday.
Well, against Green Bay, and we saw the Browns do it, and they're not a very good team either. But I think you've been talking about the Panthers defensively.
Yeah.
And they can play a good physical type of football and run the ball.
Yeah.
So
they're doing some things offensively, more or less, to try not to lose the game.
Yeah.
And if you have a great defense, you can play that way and have a decent amount of success. Also on the show for a couple times, I've been saying I think Green Bay is kind of a paper tiger. I don't think they're that good. They're very inconsistent. I mean, Love had a fantastic game against Pittsburgh 2 weeks ago, and everybody's ready to anoint him and put him in with, Mahomes and Allen and Stafford and Jackson and all those. There's days when he's there, but there's too many days when he's not there.
you're wearing your Steelers shirt because they did get a good win yesterday, right?
Yeah.
And now we're going to find out about the Colts and if they are the real deal or not, but because their schedule gets a little tougher now.
Yeah, and they go to Germany this week. I think they'll be okay. But Atlanta, that's another weird team. We talked about that. We never know what we're going to get out of them. I mean, they looked like they got thoroughly outplayed yesterday and lost by 1.
Right.
And the Steelers, I know a lot of guys say, well, they had 6 turnovers. I got to tell you, I watched that game. Steelers dominated that game. They dominated that game. And they created some of those turnovers themselves. So I'm not taking anything away from the Steelers. Now, that being said, this week they've got a game against the Chargers, who lost Alt again.
I know.
That offensive lineman. Last time they lost them, that team did not perform well. And, I taking into account that that injury, I only made the Chargers a 1-point favorite this week because that definitely showed up last time. Listen, I don't know what to think about the Steelers. Their defense played fantastic.
Yes, they did.
For probably the first time all year. Is that going to carry them forth the second half of the season? I don't know.
Well, it's a good spot to be in right now with the weak, banged-up offensive line. So if they can get to Justin Herbert, I'm with you. I mean, I think you'd have to look at that side there. College football really quick. 3 top 10 teams. We mentioned Georgia Tech, and we've also been talking about how bad NC State has been playing, but they really stepped up in that spot. And then Miami loses to SMU on the road, and Texas gets the best of Vanderbilt. But if you got the 3 with Vandy, they had a crazy comeback in the fourth quarter to at least keep that one competitive. So overall thoughts on
Vandy's for real. I mean, I saw the ESPN, what do they call it? I can't even remember, but they have their projection of Texas making the college football playoff. You see their next 2 games? They got Georgia and Texas A&M after this.
Vandy does?
No, Texas.
Oh, Texas has Georgia.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to win 2 of those games. That's how they need to do to get. They ain't winning one of them. I hate to tell you. And speaking of Texas A&M, I've talked about how I was a little slow to come around on A&M. Well, 2 of my main guys who I have the utmost respect for, Bill Conley, friend of the show, Ed Feng, friend of the show. They're both very high on A&M. And I heard personally from Ed. And, he went through, and listen, when Ed speaks, I recommend you listen. You might disagree with him, but I recommend you listen. He's one of the smartest guys we have in this business. So him and Bill Conley both have A&M rated very high. I went through, and I did some reevaluation. I still have a lot of work to do. Like I said, I just did my first draft. But I've got to try to do a little bit more work today. But I probably did have A&M a little underrated, and I'm starting to come around on them. Mostly hearing from Bill and Ed. I mean, you got to listen to those 2 guys.
I like A&M as well.
Where they got
Mike
this week?
Elko's a great coach, and
great
it's
coach.
taken him some time because it's only his second year, but it's a second year.
Yeah, they got a
bump
big
there.
game this
At
week.
Missouri.
At Missouri, what is it, about a 7-point favorite? I think is that we opened it.
Let me look.
I think that's what we opened, and that sounds about right because Missouri's still pretty tough, but of course they lost their quarterback too.
Yes.
So
no
that,
Bo Prabula in
I
that
think
one.
I made about a 5-point adjustment on Missouri.
Thoughts
But, you
on?
know, I'm
Sorry.
just guessing. I don't know.
It's hard, yeah, to
7.
know the drop off there. They did
7,
play
48.5.
relatively good in that Vandy game. Now they had a bye
Yeah.
week. Thoughts on Oklahoma getting it done against Tennessee?
I think I told you I liked Oklahoma. I made
Yes.
that game pick 'em.
That's one that, yeah.
And I didn't play that one, by the way, so I didn't make my final board. Tennessee, I think coming into the season, we had thoughts that they may have some problems. Lost one quarterback, picked up the guy from UCLA, wasn't sure what was going to go on with Tennessee. I still think that's a very good program. And I saw one of the commentators said, kudos to Tennessee for not going all in this year, knowing they were going to be up against it in an ultimately brutal conference. They're building for the future. So Tennessee probably doesn't have a whole lot of gas in the tank for the rest of the year, but they did build for the future. And when you're doing your projections for next year, keep that in mind. Tennessee kind of played it for next year a little bit, at least according to this one analyst.
Yeah, no, I mean, we saw Joey Aguilar just struggle a little bit against that defense. I thought OU's defense was kind of exposed the week before, but
Yeah.
they did enough. And John Mateer didn't have to do too much in that one. We have another coach that lost his job
Auburn,
in
yeah.
Hugh Freeze, with Auburn losing to Kentucky. That was a bad loss for them. But other than that, Ryan, any other college football notes we wanted to talk about?
I got one.
Yeah.
See if Ryan can help me out here. Nebraska lost their starting quarterback. I don't know much about the kid that's coming into play. I think he's a freshman. You anything about him?
I do not. Let me.
Yeah, I'm trying to find out what I can. I know he's played in a couple of games, but not in any kind of key situations. So they travel to UCLA. First number I saw was UCLA 6. Is that what it is? No, I'm sorry, 3. Is it 6? I can't remember.
I just
We just
pulled
put all
this
these up.
too. 3.
It's 3.
Yep. That's
Okay,
what I'm
I know what
seeing.
it was. Before the injury, going into the weekend, I had Nebraska 6. Now I'm seeing, so that's a 9-point swing. Seems a little high.
Well, yeah,
But I
Dylan
got to know
Raiola.
something about the quarterback.
Dylan Raiola finished the game, right?
Yeah, I think he's out for the year, though.
But now
is.
he's out for the year. So
Yeah.
we'll have to look into
I
that
don't know.
for his backup.
UCLA has been so inconsistent. But Nebraska still has good defense,
Big win for USC though to
Yeah.
find a way, because it was looking a little bit scary there, and I had Nebraska to cover, but I
did too. I had
I
Nebraska
still
to
wanted
cover.
USC
Yeah.
to win that.
It
So
was one of my few winners over the weekend.
some dominant performances from Texas Tech and Utah. Both
Yeah.
came through, kind of starting to show who we thought they were.
Yeah, I'm starting.
With a
I
couple
think I went on
slip-ups.
last week, and a lot of people wonder the Texas Tech quarterback injury. I didn't let that affect me that much. And Utah they had like one bad game. It was
Yep.
terrible, but they had one bad game. Otherwise, that's a pretty good team, especially at home.
And you liked Arizona State, Chris. I feel bad. I think I might have kept you off of that one, getting 7.
I can't blame you, but it was. But we both pointed out when they were missing those 2 players. I can't remember. Tyson something, and then
Yep,
the quarterback.
Tyson Jordan and Sam Levitt.
Yeah, I mean they had 2 games missing those 2 and got obliterated in both. But I told you Iowa State just isn't that good.
Nope.
They're not a good team this year.
I'm curious to see what happens with Kenny Dillingham, because he got emotional at the end of that game talking
Did he?
about his quarterback Sims that stepped in and how good he did and how much work he's put into it,
Mm-hmm.
knowing he was getting that starting spot. And he's got a culture there now.
He does.
In a
yeah.
short time, and I think
Yeah, what,
people are
second,
going to want
third year?
him. It is his 3rd.
3rd year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. Sorry, now Ryan, anything else that we did have for college? We both.
Not necessarily. It was more kind of just a question about moving back to the NFL with the trade deadline looming and futures not necessarily being taken down with games being played. When will you be putting futures back up, Chris?
So they're down now just because I've had too much to do this morning. But as soon as I get upstairs, we'll put them back up for today. They will take them off tonight at kickoff. Both teams, I guess, are in the playoff hunt theoretically. So we're going to take them off tonight at kickoff, and I will repost them tomorrow after the trade deadline.
Okay.
How lopsided are you for Dallas tonight? Because I did see some tweets and some things going around that America's team has got all the American bettors, and most of the tickets and money are on Dallas.
Funny story about that. So we were getting flooded early, and we know, we don't juice numbers. Everything's on the whole or the half. So we're getting flooded on Dallas. So I went to 3.5 early and got a couple of bets back at 3.5. Went to go back to 3 and forgot to hit enter. And so it was hanging at 3.5 on my board. And one of my big players, I don't want to identify, one of my big players came up. He said, they tell me he wants Arizona for $20,000. I said, really? Plus the 3? He said, well, no, it's 3.5. I said, no, I changed it to 3. And I looked, oh, shit. I forgot to hit enter. I said, well, give it to him. What am I going to do? It's on the board. I can't say no, So I'm now in pretty decent shape. So I got all this Dallas money coming in. I already took some pretty big whacks at plus 3.5. So I'm in decent shape on the game right now.
That's pretty awesome.
It's kind of funny.
I bet you're one of the few books that are.
It looks like it just went back to 3.5.
Is it?
Yeah. Oh, that's what I said when he took the 3.5 for a pretty sizable bet. I remember telling you guys, listen, come Monday night, we're going to be rooting for this guy, believe me. So I'm not that upset over it.
Ryan, would you be interested in 3.5?
Yeah, I do think this is going to be a closer game than a lot expect. So, yeah, I'd like it.
I'll say one more thing. I agree with Rick Ryan. He says the Arizona offense runs better with Jacoby Brissett.
Yeah.
And I've never been a Kyler Murray guy. I've said the same thing for years. The best highlight reel in the league. But that's not how you win football games. Like I said, what's a Tom Brady highlight reel look like? Him lifting the trophy. That's what it is. Yeah. And you ain't going to see Kyler Murray doing it.
Oh, you bring up Tom Brady. That reminds me of the Patriots. It's amazing what they are doing right now with Vrabel. And it was just like a short, quick switch over, right? They had a couple bad years. And now they're looking good, and they're all very happy with
Tennessee
Drake May.
Fired Mike Vrabel. I mean, that's got to go down. Listen, I understand if a guy wants to move on, blah, blah, blah. But they essentially fired. Yeah. Whatever they said about the amicable, we know that was bullshit, But
who else did they have there with Derrick Henry? It wasn't A.J. Brown, was it?
They had DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah.
They had Ryan Tannehill. They had Marcus Mariota. They got to the AFC Championship game with Mike Vrabel.
Right, Tannehill was a decent quarterback. Not great, but he was decent. He won some games.
A.J. Brown.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, yeah, right. I forgot about that.
Ryan, do you want to ask Chris? Because we didn't get a chance last week when we were talking on integrity and all that with all the sports. You want to touch on that now before we get out of here?
Not quite. I'd like to have it include Vinny, and it is a very in-depth discussion, and it kind of questions the business that we're in. So we'll save that discussion for another time.
Okay.
Well, and there's still some things going on with college basketball that happened last year, right? So hopefully,
watch those first halves.
Everything, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they caught a bunch of guys these are 18-year-old kids. You think they might not try it again? Yeah, they might.
That's valid.
Well, there's also people on Twitter saying like the Portland Trailblazers were historically bad last year, and they're now 4-1 with their interim head coach. So how much was Chauncey Billups just throwing away the season for them last year in the National Basketball Association?
Wow, that's a good question. I don't know.
Yes. Well, they're trying to get to the bottom of it, so we'll probably find out. Definitely. Well, I think that's it for us for today. Thank you for jumping on with us. We're looking forward to your offensive and defensive efficiency. We'll have those throughout the week. I think you tweet them out before our show on Friday.
Yeah. So just a word of warning. I'd pay a lot more attention to the defensive ratings because I think I got that nailed. But the offense, I need to do a little work.
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, everyone's still enjoying following. I'm seeing the comments.
I mean, there's something there.
Yeah.
I need to refine it a little better.
Maybe we can reach out to Jeff Vogel and catch up with him and get some of his offensive right now. Compare those. Everyone. Yeah.
believe me, yeah, Fogel's a good guy to follow too. Another good friend of the show.
Yeah. Well, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we're going to go through the 2 polls. We got trivia brought to you by City Light Shine, and then we'll have our whiteboard, our plays of the day. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back on Sports by the Book.
Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement. Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Get weekly football winners from Alex White, Chris Andrews, and Vinny Malulo.
I did take the dog 3.5.
I'm going to stay with the Colts here. That's definitely going to be one of my plays.
If the Bears have turned the corner, they have to take care of business in this game.
Yes.
Tune in for behind-the-book perspectives you won't find anywhere else.
Well, if you're looking to bet the under, you're going to get a better number.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorites.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Is there a way to bet against both teams?
Get your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
And we're back here on Sports by the Book, live from the South Point Hotel and Casino. Alex White, Ryan McCormick here with you. We're going to send it over to Ryan because brought to you by City Light Shine, which is available here at the South Point in the gift shop. We had a trivia going in the ticker there. So it was tennis related, Ryan. I wonder if anybody jumped in and knew that answer, but we've got that and 2 polls because tonight in Las Vegas at T-Mobile, 2 really good college basketball games. And I'm going to have 1 college basketball play today, but looking forward to those 2 games for sure with Florida and Arizona, Villanova, all playing here tonight.
Yeah.
BYU last time.
We'll start there as that was our second poll for the day for our viewers. So between the number 3 Florida Gators, the number 13 Arizona Wildcats, the number 8 BYU Cougars, and the Villanova Wildcats, all 4 of those teams are playing here in Las Vegas today, starting their college basketball seasons, 2025-26 basketball seasons. But anyway, which of those 4 teams will get to the 80-point plateau first, like timing-wise, but which is most likely, I guess, to get to the 80-point plateau? Florida, who is favored by 3.5 in the game against Arizona. BYU, who is favored by 9.5 in the game against Villanova. Arizona getting the 3.5 or Villanova getting the 9.5. And our viewers, 75% of them went with the Florida Gators. So the number 3 team in the country, the team that was playing for the national title last year, right there at the top, getting the favorite to the vote to get over 80 points in tonight's game. And then
Todd Golden's team winning that one. We'll see what they can do this year. They were a fun team last year.
Absolutely. And then the first question of the day had to do with tonight's Monday Night Football game between the Cardinals and Cowboys. Which plus money scoring prop are you taking tonight? So total touchdowns by the Cowboys, over 3.5 plus 115 here at the South Point. Total touchdowns by the Cardinals, under 2.5 plus 130 here at the South Point. Total field goals made in the game by both teams combined, over 4.5 plus 110, and total combined touchdowns under 6 plus 110. And the result of the polls, 38% of our viewers believe that the Cardinals will score under 2.5 touchdowns, getting that plus 130 price. And then a tie between the total field goals over and total touchdowns under, tied at 25% apiece. That's where I'd be looking total field goals over that 3.5. Granted, it is only plus 110, but thinking that it'll be an under type game, defenses will stand up maybe closer to the goal line. I'm liking the field goals there tonight.
Have one of the best kickers on Dallas.
Yep.
So they don't even have to get far down the field.
Yeah.
Well, even though we saw Jacksonville's kicker.
Cam Little break the NFL record, 68 yards. Let's watch Brandon Aubrey do it tonight and get 70.
Yes. I like that, over 3.5. Okay, is that it?
Well, we do have our ticker trivia presented by City Light Shine. Tennis question for you today. On this date in sports history, November 3rd, 1975, 18-time Grand Slam singles winner Chris Evert was the first tennis player to achieve the #1 world ranking in the new WTA Tour ranking system. During her career, how many total weeks did Evert top the WTA rankings? As one of the most accomplished players in the game, 260 weeks over the course of her playing career puts Evert 4th all-time on the list of weeks atop the WTA rankings, behind Steffi Graf, Martina Navratilova, and Serena Williams.
Wow.
So 270 weeks as the #1 ranked tennis player.
Insane. Do we have more themes coming this week with our trivia? Baseball tomorrow? And then kind of a little bit of everything.
Yeah. Our guy Vince does a great job mixing things up, getting you guys a variety, testing your sports knowledge. So,
yes.
Got one.
Wednesdays is good. Wow. It's got a lot in there.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to our whiteboard picks and get everybody out of here on a Monday. Thank you for joining us. Please jump in if you have any questions, comments. Jump in the chat. You have to hit that subscribe button to do that. It'll take about 5 minutes, and then you can jump in the chat with us. So here we go to our whiteboard plays of the day. I will start it off. I do already have Cowboys 2.5. So I'm rooting for Dallas tonight at home against the Cardinals. I'm going with the Canucks and the Predators under 5.5. Both of these teams have struggled to score. I trust the goalies. I'm taking a little shot at the Penguins on the road, plus 160 against Toronto. And then this is the only college basketball I really like tonight, with Lehigh playing up against the Houston Cougars, the #1 defense for the last couple of years in college basketball. I'm going under the total, and I'm going to look for Lehigh's team total to go under. I think it's over 20 for the first half for Lehigh's team total. I'm going to look that way as well. But I think it'll be a lower scoring game, and we know that defense is just suffocating with Kelvin Sampson, and he will want his team to be ready on that side of the court. So, Ryan, to you for your Monday plays.
All right. I'm going under in tonight's Monday Night Football game, under 54. We'll go to the ice, going under in Pittsburgh and Toronto. And I would love to say I like my heels tonight, opening up the season, but I'll actually go to a different college basketball game, High Point at Furman. I've been very high on High Point the last couple of years, but their head coach just left. They got hired as an assistant under Creighton. They lost their top 3 scorers last year. They are a road favorite at Furman, who returns their coaching staff and not their leading scorer, but at least a starter. So Furman at home plus the 3.5 in High Point versus Furman.
A home dog.
Yep.
I like it, getting some points there. Well, best of luck to everybody tonight with their bets. I hope we have a nice, entertaining football game between the Cowboys and the Cardinals. And, get your fix with college basketball, because we've already got it tip-off and underway. So have fun and good luck, and bet responsibly, as always. Thank you to the crew. We'll be back tomorrow again, 10 a.m. We will give you our updated college football top 10. We'll preview for anything that we think will be coming out tomorrow night for the college football playoff prediction show. And we've got every sport to talk about here on Sports by the Book. So thank you for being with us. We'll be back in 23 hours. For the crew, for Ryan McCormick, I'm Alex White. Thank you for watching. This is Sports by the Book.